Hi, I'm Sean Duhimmel from Mass Retirees. This is our Friday, September 20th edition of our weekly update. I hope you're enjoying these. As you can tell, I'm not in the office this morning. In fact, I'm over in Somerville, outside of the Mass Teachers Retirement System office building. You can see it right behind me here. It's located in the old Hood factory, right off of Interstate 93, right in the shadow of Boston. The Schraff Center, the old chocolate factory, right down the street from me right now. And just over the river in Everett, of course, is the new Encore Casino, which we won't be visiting today. In fact, I haven't even been over there yet. I hear it's beautiful, but for $2.5 billion, it should be beautiful. And the good thing is that it's creating jobs, it's bringing tax revenue into Massachusetts. And if that's your thing, then it's here. Come enjoy it. But I'm here to talk to you this morning about why I'm over here at the Teachers System and a little bit of our activities and some things we have coming up over the next week or two that hopefully will be of interest to you. Now, starting with today, Frank Valeri and myself are attending a forum that the Teachers Retirement System hosts every September. And the idea is to bring together various organizations like Mass Retirees, like the teacher unions, all of the members of the Teachers Retirement Board, state pension officials, the officials with the Pensions Reserves Investment Trust Fund. Michael Trotsky, who's the executive director of PRIM and the chief investment officer, is here this morning to present a report on the health of our pension system here in Massachusetts. Now, if you are a retired teacher or a retired state employee, hopefully you know that PRIM is the state agency that invests your pension assets. So that pension check that you get every month and all of the money that you contributed while you're working, that's invested into the stock market by PRIM. And I am thrilled to be able to report that PRIM, as well as all of the other retirement systems in Massachusetts, are amongst the best run, best achieving retirement systems in the country. That wasn't always the case. Back until the late 80s, we were terribly funded here in Massachusetts. Money wasn't being invested in the stock market, and the laws changed in the late 80s to fully fund our systems over a period of time, to invest those pension assets in the financial markets. And over the last 30 plus years, we have really come into our stride, as they say, and we're doing extremely well. And that not only bodes well for current retirees, but every single current active employee who's paying money into the system every month or every time they get paid, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly, they're paying their hard-earned money into that system, and they deserve to know that when they retire, those funds are going to be secure, and it's going to give them a secure and reliable retirement, and it's extremely important. So we're also here today to talk about windfall elimination provision and government pension offset, and I'm going to provide a report and update for all these folks on where we stand with that. But the officials who are going to be in this room and the union leaders and so forth, we're all involved in all of these efforts together, including the effort to try to reform WEP and GPO. Everybody has a role to play. Everybody has a voice in this process, and the only way we're going to get this done is if we keep working together, and I'm very happy to say that we are working together and we're making progress. Now, the other issue that's going to be a hot topic today, of course, is the cost of living adjustment. And in Massachusetts, we're very fortunate that over the past almost 22 years now, the COLA has been a regular, reliable, and reoccurring benefit for almost every public retiree each and every year. Most importantly, our COLA here in Massachusetts is cumulative, meaning that every time you receive a COLA, it becomes a permanent part of your pension. Now, in many other states, that's not the case. In most states, the COLA is viewed as sort of a bonus check, or it's even called a 13th check. And what that means is it's a one-time payment. It doesn't become part of your base pension. So you might get a COLA in 2019, but that payment is not going to be made in any future year. Here, every COLA you get, again, becomes part of your pension continues to grow, and that payment just continues year after year, and it builds upon itself. And a good example of this is down in Texas. Now, I think most of you know that we work very closely with the Texas Retired Teachers Association on all issues involving Social Security, WEP, GPO. There are key allies on that issue. But we also share information about COLAs, about pension benefits, about health insurance. And one of the things we've come to realize is just how fortunate we are in Massachusetts that we have a good COLA system. Down in Texas, the teachers this year, just this month, received their very first COLA payment in 11 years. Again, 11 years with absolutely zero COLA, nothing. The Texas legislature and the governor down there just wouldn't have it. They wouldn't give the teachers a COLA. And I believe most of the public retirees in Texas have been experiencing the same thing. So the good news is they were able to get a COLA this year. The COLA was capped at a maximum payment of $2,000. But guess what? It's a one-time payment. It's a 13th check or a bonus check. It's not part of their pension. So they get the check this year, but come next year, they're out of luck, and chances are we're going to see a number of years go by again where our friends in Texas, unfortunately, get nothing in terms of a cost of living. So if you do the math and you add up over the past 22 years of all of the COLA payments that Massachusetts teachers have received, it far exceeds what the Texas folks just received in a one-time payment, and you're getting that money each and every year. So we have a lot of good news, just things to feel proud about, and it's a good thing. But we also know we still have some work to do, and that's what brings us here today. We need to find a way to grow the COLA, and in particular, help those retirees who have been retired for a long time, whose pensions are more modest or smaller because they retired years ago, and they're finding it harder and harder to keep up with inflation, particularly paying for health insurance benefits and all those out-of-pocket costs. So right now, we are working on a new proposal with the COLA that we are calling a COLA enhancement. So you would receive the COLA that you're receiving right now, and then for retirees who have been retired for some certain period of time, you would receive an additional COLA benefit on top of what you're already getting, and that's the COLA enhancement. Now, we don't have all the details of this yet. We're working it out. We're working with people like the folks here at the Teachers Retirement System, the State Retirement System, Treasurer Deb Goldberg and her staff at the State Treasury, our friends over at the Public Employee Retirement Administration Commission and the actuaries there. We need to be able to have a plan that's affordable and that we have a way to pay for. It doesn't do any good for us to file a bill with some wonderful idea, the pie in the sky pipe dream kind of stuff that builds up hope and that we don't get any results. That's not our style. That's not the way that Mass Retirees has operated for 51 years now. And we're not going to change that. Anything we file is a legitimate proposal that can stand on its own 2 feet, that's affordable, and that we have a plan of how this is going to be implemented and paid for within the structure of our retirement systems and the funding schedules. That's the responsible thing to do, and that's the way we've always operated. So my hope is that over the next few months, we'll be able to have a plan and the details of a plan that we can roll out to everybody. Now, next week is the Joint Committee on Public Service hearing. All of the COLA legislation is up for hearing that day. Frank Valeri and myself will be at the hearing. We're going to testify on this and explain to the legislature what we're working on and ask for their assistance in some of the fact gathering and the studies that are taking place. In addition to that, our bill increasing the amount of the hours that retirees can return to public service on a part-time basis, that bill is also being heard next week. So right now, the hourly limit for the year, for a calendar year, is 960 hours. Our proposal would increase that to 1,200 hours a year. So we'll go from about 18 and a half hours a week on average to 22 hours a week on average. Now, we receive calls each and every day on this, and I know that a lot of members are working part-time jobs, have tried to get part-time jobs, and unfortunately sometimes don't get hired because of the restrictions. And this just loosens things up a little bit, and it is a more reasonable, modern approach that fits the modern workforce, because 18 and a half hours a week is really not that much time. 22 hours a week is probably more palatable. The hope is we can get the bill moving through the legislature this fall with the plan of getting it completed early in 2020, get it onto Governor Baker's desk, and if for some reason the governor once again vetoes the bill, we'll have time next year to override that veto and get it on the books. So what that means is, unfortunately for those of you who are working, the likelihood of this applying to 2019 is a long shot. I don't think that's going to happen. What we are trying to do, though, is change the law that for 2020, the new rules would apply to you. And I applaud the members who continue to call us. You're doing the right thing. You're tracking your time. You're watching your earnings. You're playing by the rules. And that goes a long way toward allowing us to be able to get something done that's fair. So thank you for that. Now, I'm going to sign off for today because I got to get into this meeting. I also have to get this video uploaded so all of you can see it and be informed. But thank you again for all the support you give our association. If you're not already a Mass Retirees member, or if you're an active employee who's interested in subscribing to our newsletter so you can continue to be informed and get all the facts about the kind of things I'm talking about, please join our association. There's a link at the top of the page to our website that will bring you to the join page. And again, thank you so much for all the support, and we'll be back to you again next Friday with another update.